What's up, weebs? Welcome back to Anime Lane. As always, I'm your host from Notorious, and joining me once again today is Shaun.
According to all known laws of aviation, there is no way that a bee should be able to fly.
We're back again on the good old Discord call episodes here.
And we are Melina-less because she is very busy.
It's not so much that, well, yes, no, she is. I guess, like...
Yeah, she is busy. That's not up for discussion.
This is probably not going to come up in Halloween Lane, which is why, partially, we're doing these episodes like this.
Yeah.
She's bought a house and is, like, moving in. Not as we speak. Like, that's a couple of days from now. But, like, over the course of, like, September, she's going to be moving. And then we're prepping for Halloween Lane. So, like, it's just, you know... one of those times where it's like, yeah, to save all of us from mental breakdown at some point, let's do, you know, online episodes, just me and Shaun. We can sub in, because it also, like, you know, My Dress Up Darling Season 2 and Danadan Season 2 are airing. So, like, this is just the perfect opportunity to, you know, record those two, and rather than wait too long between them finishing airing and whenever we get to them. So yeah, Halloween Lane is going to be in person, because these are obviously all the October episodes that you're hearing this at the beginning of October, and you'll probably have heard the first Halloween Lane proper episode. They're all in person, featuring Manuel, hopefully, assuming nothing goes wrong.
Yeah, we really hope. Yeah. We're hoping nothing, like, bad happens so that any of our plans get fucked up.
Because right now, our recording date for Halloween Lane is a month from now.
Yes. We do this in advance, as you know, dear listener.
So, yeah, hopefully nothing went wrong. Hopefully all went well. But yeah, we're just here, and we were, like, planning what to do. And we just started talking about stuff. We're like, why are we planning what to talk about when we can just talk about the things we're talking about right now?
This call we are in right now was originally just, okay, we're going to plan out what we're going to do. And then because we go on tangents all the time when we talk. When we talk on the podcast and go off in wildly different directions, that's just us. That's just how we talk normally. So we had the genius idea of, why don't we just record this now and save ourselves a headache?
We had started talking about Sonic Adventure as a prospective topic to discuss, and then we ended up talking about Batman and Spider-Man, and then we were like, okay, let's just record this, because, you know, we can't recreate a conversation, basically.
No, we can't.
So yeah, I played back at the beginning of the year, much to Shaun's joy, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2.
Greatest games of all time.
Uh-huh. Oh, you're...
Yeah.
Sure. To some.
Hey, legitimately, I do genuinely love the first one. The second one I do think is good, but, like, I don't know, it doesn't hit me as much.
I like the first one well enough. The second one I enjoyed some aspects of it. I'm currently trying to find it on my backlog to check what scores I gave them. So the first game I gave a 6, and the second game I gave a 7. I think just because the second game, despite all the fuckery with porting and stuff, if you get the right fan patches and stuff, it is like a more technically competent game. I just don't like some of the gameplay mechanics, i.e. grind rails. They can go fuck themselves.
All, like, 12 of them?
Yeah, there's a huge section at the end, though, that just really pissed me off. It had me fully crashing out trying to play it.
So, it's hard to judge what a popular opinion is as someone in the Sonic fandom anymore. Like, I'm in the Sonic fandom. I'm not proud of it. I like these games. You can make some assumptions of the kind of person I am just off of that. I won't blame you. But I will say, I don't know if you saying you don't like Final Rush specifically as a level is a hot take or not.
So it's not that I don't like Final Rush.
You were very angry when you were playing it to me. I'm gonna be real.
Yes, but we gotta remember, Final Rush is a huge level, because it's not just the Sonic section, it's everyone else too. You switch between...
that's not Final Rush.
Oh, is that not Final Rush?
Sorry, I thought you were talking about the final level of Sonic's campaign or
Oh,
Shadow's campaign, where you're at, like the bunch of the grind rails and stuff, like, and you're racing to like the goal ring.
uh, th- I think isn't that just Shadow? Doesn't Sonic like it's you switch between
You're thinking of the
Knuckles?
final story.
Ah, okay. Oh, final story. Right, yeah.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is the problem with talking about something I played 8 months ago.
yeah.
Um,
Don't worry, that's why I'm here.
yeah, Sonic story, Final Rush. Oh,
You got so frustrated on all those fucking grind
I
rails.
crashed out so hard. I alt F4'd the game at one point. I took 15 minutes just to breathe and chill, and then I thought maybe I'll go to bed because it was like almost 1 a.m. or something.
Yeah,
And
it's for
then
healthy gamers.
yeah, and then I was like, no, I can't leave this hanging over my head. I will be dreaming about it. And then yeah, I booted it back up, and I think at that point I may have taken my headphones off too, because sometimes like I'll get really frustrated with a section that I'm playing in a game, and even though you wear headphones to lock in, sometimes to focus on what I'm doing control wise, I need to take off the headphones and lose the distraction of like sound design and music and all of this
I
sort of
get that
stuff.
completely.
Yeah, to like lock in on what I'm doing rather than like the game as a whole. Like there's a few combat sections in at the end of Arkham Asylum and then near the end of Arkham Knight where like I just got so frustrated I had to take the headphones off because I'm like, there's sound, there's like the graphic tells for what you're meant to do and stuff, and like there's a lot of enemies and they're shouting random bits of dialogue and stuff, and I'm like, I need to take this off because I need to focus on like pressing all the specific buttons and combinations that you need to do. Otherwise I'm just going to keep getting frustrated that like Joker is laughing at me when I die, or like
Roided
strange.
up Joker.
Yeah. It's not even that part. It's the part before that when you're fighting like in the room that leads up to that final fight with Joker, where like you're fighting all the goons and then like 3 Titans or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I took off the headphones and then like I locked in. I still think it took me more than too many attempts.
Yeah.
But that, I think it's just like, oh, it doesn't feel precise enough for what it wants you to do a lot of the time, especially parts where it wants you to scale up or down. Especially like because there's parts where you're going up on the grind rail and then you're having to like platform across sections, and then it'll have a part where like it wants you to do a specific like dash move to then like attach to a rail that goes up. And I feel like no matter how much I tried, I couldn't get that dash to join the rails right. I could never nail it to work, and I'd have to find some other way around getting up.
Yeah, that sort of pulls in because the thing about Sonic Adventure, both the Sonic Adventure games really, is that sometimes their physics are just kind of fucked.
Yeah.
And this is the part where I'm gonna go into Super Sonic fan mode right here and talk about why maybe the physics are so fucked in the PC port, which is fun fact about both the games. They were originally released on the Dreamcast, as I'm sure you know.
R.I.P.
Yeah, gone before it, ahead of its time, but also not quite
No.
at the same time. I actually have a Dreamcast as well. I love having that thing. I've got barely anything for it though. I need to find a way to hook it up to my TV. But originally released on the Dreamcast, RIP. But because it RIP'd pretty fast, and Nintendo or Sega dropped out of the console race like right after, they had the immediate thought of, okay, we gotta get these games onto consoles people actually own. To which they naturally went to the GameCube.
Yep.
The one everyone totally owned.
Yeah, it was Nintendo's worst selling console until the Wii U.
You gotta, it's a matter of perspective, and Sega's point of view, anything was better. Anything was better. And they weren't quite sure about Sony yet.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, there was no chance of it being Sony considering the history between them, given the PS1's birth and all that stuff. So, like, yeah.
Hmm.
No, sorry, I'm thinking Nintendo, but I'm forgetting we're talking
Yeah,
about
that was
Sega.
Nintendo.
Sorry, yeah. Probably, yeah,
But
they just didn't.
I still kind of get it, really, because, Sega and Nintendo, they had that rivalry, but that's still
Yeah.
a sort of, working relationship they had, because it was never like a I want you dead sort of, like, history, despite how much you might think it is from their marketing.
Yeah.
It was more a sort of, friendly rivalry before Sega died.
Yeah.
So, I can understand why they really jumped to the GameCube, but, like, back to the point. They go on the GameCube, and during the porting process, they fuck up so much shit.
Oh.
Like, under the hood. Like, the only pluses I can give the DX cut are, I like the character models a little better. They did clean them up a little bit. Yeah, that's it.
And it's a shame because the character models are better, but they fucked up all the lighting, so they don't look better in most scenarios.
The models themselves are good, but because of the way the lighting is, they constantly look like McDonald's plastic toys.
Yeah.
Which is, kind of off-putting when you really notice it.
Yep.
So, but then, after the GameCube ports came out, Sonic Adventure 1 specifically got a PC port based on that GameCube port.
Yep.
So we're at a port of a port at that point.
Then that got ported to the Xbox 360 later, but yeah.
Cut to a decade later.
Yeah.
And the HD versions come out on Xbox Live, and then later on, I think, PlayStation.
You can buy them right now on PlayStation 4, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's another port, though.
Oh,
because
Jesus
then,
Christ.
that was... If I recall correctly, I could be wrong, but if I recall correctly, those HD versions were then ported to Steam for a new PC port.
Oh, you're right, yeah.
And then that Steam port got ported to the current, or the last generation of consoles, which are also bleeding into the current generation of consoles because it's the same marketplace.
Yeah. You can play all of them on the new consoles.
So the most easily accessible way to play these games right now, like legitimately, are ports of a port of a port, at least.
Just a Jenga tower with several pieces stacked at the top.
Yeah.
And they keep picking from the bottom.
Yeah, and almost every time they get ported, it loses something.
Yeah.
It's like the Lazarus Pit for a video game. Every time it dunks back in, it loses a little piece of itself.
Yeah, if you have like a PC that's capable of running them, which is like any PC most people are gonna own nowadays, I highly recommend getting them on Steam because you can just patch them to function better.
Please get the better DX mod, or just the mod manager at this point. I'm not sure if it's like changed where just like downloading the actual mod manager gives you a lot of the features that like what was once just the better Sonic Adventure DX mod. It's been a while since I've checked, but basically download the mod manager or just whatever it is that like makes the game better, and you will be thankful that you're playing the game as best it can, and then you can judge whether you actually like it or not.
Yeah, I think they're fine. The more I think about it, the more I think I like the first game more. Even if it's like... I don't like the structure of it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, I don't like the several character stories that you have to, like, beat, and then you get the next one, and then, you know, you get the next one type thing.
I like it as a concept, and again, I have to, like, stress, I have serious nostalgia bias towards these games as well, so that's obviously going to blind some of the more objective stuff I'm going to talk about here. But, like, I do like the concept of, like, you know, different characters that'll have their little side stories that then coalesce into one big narrative. I always like that in games in general, honestly. I think that's cool. It's just, when it comes to Sonic Adventure 1, your mileage on that is, like, what gameplay styles do you actually like and dislike in your Sonic game?
Like, I think if they were all part of, like, just one big campaign where you swapped at certain points, I think that would be cool. It's just the fact that like at some point you've got to play the whole Big the Cat section.
Big the cat, you gotta save Froggy.
That fishing mini game, Jesus Christ.
That whole mini story basically has nothing to do with the actual plot, though, and I feel that's like an infamous part of the game, obviously, because with Amy and like Gamma, the other two sort of play styles of like Sonic Adventure 1, at least Amy has like a play style that's like similar enough to Sonic, just sort of slower.
Yeah.
And again, her the campaigns after like Knuckles are pretty short, so you're only going to be spending like an hour or two in their hells at most. But with Big, one, it is the shortest campaign, but it's such a detraction from everything else that's going on. In terms of gameplay and story, it feels like such a nothing burger.
Yep. I still
and you
don't
have to play it to beat the game. It's mandatory.
I think the problem is that like it never explains the fishing. And no matter how hard I try to wrap my head around explanations online, I still just think I got it through sheer luck rather than like actually figuring out how it worked.
I hate to say that I've played it enough that I can do it pretty flawlessly at this point.
Christ.
But I can't tell you like the actual details of how it works though, even in my head. It, like again, this goes into I'm not sure how exactly I would describe it. It's just a sort of muscle memory I've gotten from playing these games over like a decade. I just know. Subconsciously I know how it works. I can't tell you in detail, I just know. You just sort of with Big, you go up to whatever fucking pond Froggy's in. You throw the thing. You pray that he gets it within like 5 seconds, otherwise you're going to be sitting there doing nothing for possibly 5 minutes. And then you reel him in, stop, reel him in, don't break it, just sort of reel it slowly in, but also not enough so that he doesn't let go.
Yeah.
There's a balance. And then eventually he'll just appear in your hands and you beat the stage.
Now I just have the fucking like jungle loop from the second game in my head, because that's where he is, and there's like the same 10-second loop plays in that fucking place, and you gotta find. I don't even think it's like Froggy in that park. I don't think. Well, I think you do play as Big at some point during that section, but like you have to find. You go back there like 3 times as main characters and have to find different things.
Hold on, what part are you talking about?
The jungle section in the second game.
Game?
Is it the second game? Or is it... No, it's the first one. Sorry. Yeah, I'm thinking of the first game.
It's fair for like these games to just sort of meld in your head. I don't blame you.
It is the first game, because it's like where you've gone... It's where the bridge to like Eggman's thing is. The temple. I think it's a temple, actually, now that I think about it. But it's surrounded by a jungle.
Mystic Forest or something like that?
Something like that, yeah. It's got the same, like,
Yeah. The fucking... Okay, this is a really weird thing to suddenly go into. I keep thinking that, like, starting part of that music is the same, like, stock sound they use in fucking I'm a Celebrity. When they come to the jungle. Not like the yelling, but the sort of... Wow.
Yeah.
I've constantly heard that. No one has ever, like... made that connection before, and I obviously, why would you, but like in my head I've always heard them as the same thing, so it's like a weird thing I think about every time I get into that area. And I hate it.
I hate that area for so many different reasons.
Well, you don't love the jungle maze?
Yeah.
I still get lost in that place sometimes.
It's easy to do. It's so easy to do. Man, those games. I'm glad I've played them.
Are you?
Yeah. I just don't think I'll ever play them again.
Sad. Best game of all time, Sonic Adventure 1. We didn't even talk about Gamma's story, which in reality is the one that has nothing to do with anything, but I actually like as its own side story.
Yeah, I don't remember being too like I think I enjoyed the gameplay of Gamma's story. I just remember it being on the ship. I don't really remember.
He has a whole subplot where he has to save his like other robot animal friends by killing them.
Yeah, I don't really remember anything about Gamma's story now that I think about it.
Man, that's sad. I legitimately get sort of sad sometimes at the end of his story. Because if I know right, it's basically the story of what if an Eggman robot like got self-aware of what he is and was like horrified.
Yeah, I don't remember this. I just remember like playing on the egg carrier as him, but I think you play as a bunch of different locations.
Yeah, like basically your goal is to like get Froggy for Eggman because he has like Chaos's tail for some reason.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is an important part of him, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But then like he meets Amy when she's like confined. And then he grows a conscience because he's like, wow, friendship. Wow. And then he's like, I gotta free my other animal friends from like robot purgatory. And so he kills them to save them. And then he kills himself.
Yeah. Huh.
It's a weird U-turn for a game,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. That's crazy. You think it would leave an impression?
Too traumatizing, you blocked it.
Probably.
Yeah, it left an impression for me. Quite clearly.
Yeah.
Should we play it?
No, I don't think I will. No. No, I've had my fill of those games. Yeah. Here's the thing, I like Sonic as a character, I like Shadow as a character, but a lot of the time I find playing the games not that fun.
Yeah, it doesn't help that like every mainline Sonic game switches up the style because Sega doesn't believe in consistency.
Yeah. I like the Mega Drive games or Genesis games for the Americans out there.
Ew. Not to the games, just like the name
yeah.
Genesis. Ew.
I actually still have the cartridges for 1 and 2 under my bed, because I've still got my Mega Drive. But like, I like those, but I've never finished them because one, you have to do them all in one straight shot. There is no saving in those ones.
Except for 3. I think 3 has a save system, whether it still works because it's probably battery based.
Yeah, you would need to open up the cartridge and like replace the battery probably. I think that's easy enough to do.
But so yeah, I think 3 and Knuckles has like a save system, but again, still.
Yeah, I don't think I ever had 3 and Knuckles, because I only ever remember having 1 and 2, and like the fact that those are the 2 under my bed. Like, I assume those are the only 2 I had. I know I had, I have, oh god, Sonic 3D...
3D Blast.
Yes, that's it.
Or,
awful
as it's
game.
just known over here, Sonic 3D Flicky's Island, which I actually will give the Americans for the 3D Blast is a lot more of a fun name.
Is it that game? I'm pretty sure it's just called 3D Blast on my packaging, but it says Mega Drive. So
okay, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I remember it being specifically 3D's Flicky's Island because the way I experienced the Mega Drive games as a kid was through the Mega Collection.
Yeah. I have those.
I never had a Mega Drive because apparently my cousins had like a Mega Drive at some point, but that must have gone, or it's just in an attic somewhere.
Yeah.
I never had the Mega Drive, so the way I experienced a lot of those games was through like the later Mega Collections and stuff. And I like the classic games. They are the games that basically made Sonic, but at the same time, I'm a lot more of a 3D person when it comes to video games. I'm not much of a side scroller fan.
I can
Sometimes.
enjoy a good side scroller. It's just the sort of classic ones never really struck me too much. And I'm the same sort of with Mario as well. I think I'm just not a big
Yeah,
platforming person in
honestly,
general.
same.
Cause like I always play a Mario game and I enjoy it, but at some point I just start getting a bit bored. And I want to enjoy them more, but I think it's just like the games always eventually hit a point of just repetition, and like
Yeah.
that you could say about any video game ever.
Yeah. Every game has a gameplay loop.
And I think I just don't enjoy the gameplay loop of platformers too much.
I mean, especially the classic ones, where like because obviously they're so limited by
Yeah.
what they could put in the game, they kind of just have to reuse like settings and like stages and stuff like all the time. So I make it sound like that. I feel like I'm spoiled by being born in a later generation of gaming.
Hey, doesn't mean Nintendo's changed anything. They just keep fucking reusing the Mario side-scrolling stuff. It's always the same.
Yeah, I mean, people complained about New Super Mario Brothers being the same every single time.
Yeah, they just keep.
But then everyone was okay with Wonder, even though I admit I've not really played it, but that looks exactly the same to me.
I don't think I haven't played Wonder. I don't have it. But yeah, it looks like it's the same as New Super Mario Bros.
I not to throw shade at people that love Wonder, because obviously that's cool, but I just remember that getting revealed and everyone going apeshit over it.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, yes, this is Return to Form, and I was like, not that long ago, everyone was complaining that New Super Mario Brothers was the same thing every time, and now we're okay with it?
I think the problem with New Super Mario Bros. Ended up being that, like, you had New Super Mario Bros. On DS, and then they re-released that for the Wii.
It's a different game, though.
And then they re-released it again for the Wii U, but it was Luigi.
They're different games. They're as different from each other as like Mario 1 was to Mario 3.
Are they? Like, the DS and the Wii game are largely the same, except there's 4-player multiplayer, as far as I know, because I had both as a kid.
So did I. I'm gonna put my foot down here. They're different games. I played them both. I beat them both. They're different games.
They have all the same stages, though, right? I'm pretty sure they do.
No.
Do they not?
No. I feel like I'm being such a no right now, but like, no. They're different games. I was there, man.
Yeah, I was there too, and I remember not playing the Wii version that much because it literally just felt
Well,
like
I did until the save got corrupted, so I know intimately.
I should get the second one for the 3DS. I've never played that one too much.
I beat that one. It's cool. Do you like coins? Do you like coins?
That's the big gimmick of 2, isn't it? It's collect coins.
Be rich to get money. Get Gold Mario, who gives you even more coins. I don't know what the hell was up with that game.
Yeah,
but it was a trap.
I remember, I think when I first bought a 2DS, and this was back when it was the door wedge version and not the clamshell 2DS XL that I've got now. I'm pretty sure. Am I right in thinking that they made the cartridge for that yellow or gold? I think it may have just been the box.
I can't remember. It might have just been the box.
Yeah, but I remember like thinking, "Ooh, that's a bit. Why did you do that?"
It's a bit piss yellow, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I sold that 2DS because I did not like the 2DS, not the original form factor of it. That just was not comfortable.
You didn't like the mutated Game Boy Advance? Because that's really what it was.
It was really just a beefed up like Game Boy, not even like a Game Boy Advance, but like a Game Boy. Just the whole shebang as one big unit.
It's a brick with screens.
I'm so glad I eventually got the 2DS XL version. Or should I say new 2DS XL, because it's got the architecture of the new 3DS XL, which means it plays new 3DS XL games, which there are a total of 5, and one of them isn't even worth playing anymore because they ported it to the Switch.
That's Xenoblade.
It's Xenoblade.
Oh, that's the only one I can ever think of that was worth a damn.
Yeah, and then they fucking ported it. Because of course they ported it to Switch, because they had 2 and 3 on Switch. And now we've got...
Well, not just that was the trend. Anything worthwhile from that previous generation got ported to the Switch.
Yeah, what always got me is that, like, I forgot that, like, the new 3DS XL came out around the time of the Switch. And then most of the games worth a damn for that console came out while the Switch was out. So it's basically just like, well, let's not buy it for this because it's eventually going to come out on that anyway. Because, like, Fire Emblem Warriors was on there, and I think that's got ported to Switch now as well.
Yeah. Was it during the 3DS that, like, Fire Emblem had, like, that... So they did the Pokemon thing where they released, like... A game that was in not just 2 parts, though, but 3 parts.
And one of them was only downloadable.
Wow!
So you can't get it anymore. Yeah, that was a Fire Emblem Conquest Awakening and... Oh god, hold on.
The Houses?
No. 3 Houses is the one that's on the Switch. That came out near the start of the Switch.
I don't play Fire Emblem, so...
Same, I've never played a Fire Emblem game. I have the original one, because they re-released it for this... Well, not re-released it, but like it's the NES version on Switch for the first time, like, in English. Let me see...
Birthright,
that's it. Why can't I see this on the list here? Where is... Oh, that's weird. It's not on the... Why isn't it on the list of Fire Emblem games?
We are searching stuff up because we're at our computers.
Yeah. Where the hell? Hold on. Fire Emblem Birthright. Because there was a
Revelation.
Super limited version. Fire Emblem Fates, that's what it's called. Birthright, Conquest, and Revelation. Revelation was the downloadable one. There was a super limited version that had all 3 on one cart. And so, like, that's the only way to get Revelation, now, I think, unless you know, do a little funny business with your 3DS. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, I should probably do. At some point.
Not that we're recording, dude.
Here's the thing, as soon as you shut down the online support for a console, you immediately enter it into the area of, I am fine with pirating for it now.
Yeah.
The minute I can't buy, especially stuff that is only available on the online stores, as soon as that is gone, I have no scruples about going other routes.
Yeah. Like, it's sort of that thing, like, I'm gonna state right here. Emulation, I think, is cool. I love emulation.
Is a fantastic thing that exists.
I understand it is sort of a grey area, like, legally, but also that's going into piracy and stuff. And I'm not gonna condone piracy, like, on a show. Outside of certain circumstances, like you just mentioned.
Yes. What I will say is that, well, the second-hand market is really cool, and I do own a lot of my favourite games that I do tend to emulate over playing on either real hardware or ports or whatever. Like, I have I have Japanese copies of Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, and Parasite Eve 1 and 2. However, those are exceptions to the rule where PS1 games are fucking expensive. And the second-hand market is insane. Like, Symphony of the Night can go for, like, almost $1,000 a piece for an in-box copy. You're never going to find just a disc on its own either. And it's the same with, like, Silent Hill games. Those are really expensive. So it's like... And there's no... Okay, Symphony of the Night, you do have the option of buying the PS4 version. And I do own the PS4 version. Therefore, I don't really have any qualms with attaining the PS1 version... through other means, because it's different, there's a different dub, etc.
There's a whole bunch of like little gameplay changes as well between like because the Requiem version, we're going on a slightly different tangent, unlike Symphony of the Night. Apologies, but the Requiem version on PS4 you can get for Symphony of the Night with Rondo of Blood is the PSP version.
Yes,
that was what it originally was for, and the PSP version was on the Dracula X Chronicles, which is his own collection as well, and that introduced some changes from the PS1 version, which included the new dub with Yuri Lowenthal.
Yeah.
Great guy. Please follow him on Blue Sky and stuff like that. I love Spider-Man. But has the new dub and extra playable characters, mainly Maria, who before this was exclusively a Saturn character.
I think so, yeah.
But the Saturn release was Japan only, because that's the only region that gave a damn about the Sega Saturn. Going back to the Sega thing. But the PSP version added a new version of that, and there's all these little like bug fixes and some extra bugs added in that I found out as well. So there's bottom line, enough significant changes between the version you can get now and the original PS1 version, which, depending on how you feel, you might like the PS1 version a little more. I think I'm in the camp to say I kind of do at this point.
I like both. I've played both and I enjoy both. But like, you know, Symphony of the Night is a fucking amazing game. Like,
it's a masterpiece.
It's a masterpiece. But just to quickly go back to my point with emulation is that that's sort of an exception to the rule here, where like that's available to play. And now the Resident Evil games are more readily easily available to play. You've got the GOG versions, and you've got the new release for the PlayStation Store. But Silent Hill,
my point.
You don't have any option at all.
You can get the fourth game on GOG.
Yeah, you can get the fourth game on GOG, and I think you can get the first game on PS3, but that means having a PS3, but navigating the store on the PS3 is a nightmare. And you now can't use your credit card or debit card or any payment method on there because of security concerns, which means you need to go through a really crazy method of adding money to your PlayStation wallet to buy stuff. So like, it's not easily accessible.
It's barely accessible.
So yeah, like there's some things that like I think is fine, and you probably just should, rather than breaking your bank to get them. You know,
the main rules I have when you want to be like a sort of white hat pirate or emulator, we'll call it, is if it's unavailable in any reasonable way, and like it doesn't look like it's going to be available in any reasonable way in the future, maybe just go ahead and do it. It's gonna stop you.
Because like, I'm holding out.
Just don't try and like charge for it or anything. Don't try and make money off your piracy. That's when you're gonna get hit with reasonable sort of, you know, lawsuits.
Yeah, there's hope from. I have some hope that Konami will do something about re-releasing the Silent Hill games now that they've remade 2, they're remaking 1. F comes out in a month or so from when we're recording.
I hope it's good.
I really hope it's good. Same. So the franchise now lives again after the whole Hideo Kojima debacle, but we still don't have the original 3 games in a readily accessible way on modern hardware. So hopefully they do something like that now. However, there's also Square Enix with Parasite Eve, where I just don't think they're ever going to do anything with it ever again. And despite the fact that all of the Final Fantasy games are readily available on modern hardware, except 11, but 11's like a unique case of being an MMO.
It's an MMO.
Yeah. And you can play it on PC, but like that's the only place you can play it, but that's besides the point. You can get all of the Final Fantasy games on modern systems. They're not giving that same love and care to Parasite Eve, which sucks, because you can't get it in any way. And like, we never even got the first game, period, here in the UK.
We're stuck in Europe.
We only ever got the second game, which is fine.
Which goes into a whole cool discussion about like Europe's relationship with just RPGs specifically and like gaming and stuff. But like to finish off the emulation point, to
Yeah.
try and stick to one thing at a time. I was going off like your thing because I like emulation. I think it's cool. It's given me a lot of access to games I would never have been able to play otherwise, and I'm very thankful for that. But the reason I only got into it to begin with at all was because about back when I was getting into Resident Evil like fully, I wanted to play the original trilogy of games specifically, and it wasn't accessible anywhere. It wasn't on the PlayStation's. I mean, the PS1 version of like the director's cut was available on PlayStation now, but that was through only subscription.
Yeah,
like
that was on
the higher tier.
Premium, like the highest tier of PlayStation Plus.
And I wasn't gonna pay like £100+ for one game.
Yeah.
Like I loved Resi even at that point, but I wasn't quite that mad yet. And they weren't there. They weren't on GOG yet. That wouldn't happen for like a year afterwards.
Yeah.
So literally the only way I'd ever be able to play it was dig out my old PS1 copy and try and buy a physical copy secondhand, or go onto this cool website with a duck on it, and there we go. It's there. I can play it. And if you've listened to our Resident Evil retrospective, it was one of my favorites of the series.
Yeah.
Possibly of all time right now. Who knows?
Is it still on my top 5 games? I can't remember if I added it to my top 5 on backlogged. No, I got Parasite Eve there though.
That's fair. And I still haven't beat Parasite Eve. I need to get back to it.
You do need to
I'll
get
probably
back to
restart it. But like from what I have played it, and I wouldn't have ever been able to play it if emulation wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So emulation is good, I'd say.
Yes.
On the whole.
In the current industry where they don't seem to care about proper preservation of video games, because there's a reason that when the PS4 was coming out and then the PS5 was coming out, that a lot of people were talking about backwards compatibility, is because hardware does die. Hardware becomes not obsolete, but unusable. It's gonna wear out and break eventually. You're seeing that happen with the original PS3 models right now.
Yeah.
And then you have the scarcity of the games themselves, because there's only so many copies will have been sold over the lifetime of that game, and only so many people are going to want to sell those, and as they become more collectible, fewer and fewer copies are going to make their way on the second-hand market, which pushes the price up. And so if you don't have a meaningful way of preserving that into the modern time, as hardware progresses, as new console generations come about, you kind of just make piracy. Yeah.
If you have it inevitably becomes like the backbone of game preservation, because not just does hardware like wear out, or does hardware just like or just like games become like physically scarce. Like technology itself, just by its nature, evolves, and eventually technology will evolves far enough that it becomes incompatible with how you play games, because that's the reason why PC games, you can't just take like a lot of times you can't just take like a disc or like a CD of an old PC game and plop it into a new one and it's expected to work fine. Sometimes it does. I'm not gonna say like I'm an expert, but like sometimes it's just not, because like the systems underneath have changed so much. It can't recognize what it needs to do, which is partially why like so many games on Steam up until like a few years ago were stuck with that Games for Windows Live bullshit. That's
sort of that's
something like that.
Yeah, that comes down to a problem with with Windows specifically. You kind of most of the time you can run a game, say from Windows 95 onwards on a Windows 11 machine.
Yeah, because I mean, Tom Scott even did a video on this, I think, at one point, where it's like, if you open like a specific route to like the file, like exploring and stuff, you'll end up getting windows that are running off of old Windows 95 code.
Yeah.
Because they have to, because institutions which don't upgrade their stuff, sometimes out of like, you know, they just don't know how, or sometimes just because of reasonable things that they don't want to mess with, have to be backwards compatible as a necessity for like very important systems to function still. So backwards compatibility is hugely important in that thing, and that's why you got to keep it. But if it's in a situation where it doesn't seem as important in like a large society sense, like, you know, video games, because let's be real, video games.
Yeah.
The people behind these systems are going to be like, well, who cares? Just get a new one.
It's one of those fascinating things for Windows specifically, where in the time of Windows 11, a lot of the problems with everything with the OS stem from the fact it is a monolith built on top of a 35-year-old code base, because it's still running on the NT kernel that was developed for Windows 2000. I think.
ME?
Yeah, Windows ME. Windows 2000 was the business side, and that had the NT kernel. Windows 2000 was a rushed OS that ended up still being built on the 9X kernel, which was the one that was used for 95 and 98. Though the NT kernel can still use the code base for 95 and 98. So it's this weird thing where you have this, you know, several decades old base level of stuff that can't really cope with where we're at in a modern hardware and software level. And, you know, you've got the extension up to 64-bit instead of just 32-bit. Windows needs that, though. It needs that diverse capability of being compatible with not just video games for a long-standing amount of time, but also software for a long-standing amount of time. Software becomes deprecated and doesn't get updated anymore for one reason or another, but some places still need to use that software. They're probably, you know, if it is software that's no longer being developed, whoever's still using it is maybe developing their own extra pieces to that software for their own needs and fixing it. But at the same time, Windows desperately needs to move away from that NT kernel. It needs to move on to the Unix kernel, which is the kernel that Linux and Mac is now based on. It is a fundamentally better kernel. The only problem is that it's I think it's open source, and I don't think Windows would go that route. It doesn't open Windows itself as an operating system to any harm. Like, it's not going to introduce security flaws or anything like that, because that's all an OS thing, and how much access you give the OS and software to the kernel. Which brings me to anti-cheat. Anti-cheat in video games should not access the kernel level, because that's a security breach and fundamental problem waiting to happen. You're going to cause...
Absolutely.
Like, games are already starting to cannibalize themselves with kernel access. You're having games conflict with each other just by having a game installed. You're seeing pop-ups that are like, please uninstall this game to continue playing this one.
What was it recently that had,
Battlefield 6 asked people to uninstall Valorant, I believe.
Like, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, that is just... Not to, like, dramatize, because I don't want to be, like, you know, gamer most suppressed minority, but, like, that is dystopian in a way, isn't it? That, like, you can't play, like, this game because it's detected, and basically, in no uncertain terms, it's detected a competitor on your system and was like, we're not going to let you play this, and uninstall this and play our game instead.
And that's sort of, like, one issue, is that, like, that's an entirely unintentional thing on EA's part. but they could make that intentional in the future.
Yeah, like if they think that people won't care enough about it because we're living in a world more and more resigning itself to evil.
Mm-hmm.
Not to be doom and gloom. It really feels like that sometimes.
Yeah.
I can see. I can't believe I'm saying this. I feel like I can see a very possible future where EA just goes like, "What if we just do that like for all our games?
Yeah.
Not like if you want to play our games, we can't let you. You're not allowed to play these other people's games.
Mm-hmm.
You're only allowed to play our games."
Yeah. So that's like one current issue now facing like gaming with kernel level access for anti-cheat systems. The other one is just that like you're giving malicious parties just like a free reign access to the kernel, because people crack anti-cheat all the time and it's super easy to do. Pretty much it's laughable how many games get their anti-cheat cracked before they even release. And so like, what are you expecting to happen when it's accessing things at the kernel level? Is that like, of course someone's going to go, well, if that's doing it, I can use that as a way to do that, which means I'm not just, you know, accessing someone's system. I could potentially fuck everything up for them. It shouldn't be something Microsoft allows, period. Let alone, you know, something
it's kind of
anyone should have
laughable that
developed.
like something called anti-cheat makes basically if you crack it, which sounds easy to do from what you're saying, like so much more malicious from like a malware perspective. Like holy shit.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Welcome to Anime Lane, where we talk about existential crises on our computers. We started out with a Sonic talk.
We did. This is
What does that series do to people?
that was the other thing we were talking about earlier, is that like at some point in your life you're sort of faced with, or not even faced with, you're just sometimes handed
To go all the way back to that.
A character that just defines like the rest of your life obsessions pretty much.
Yeah. If you're if you're not fully neurotypical.
Because you have Sonic and Spider-Man, and then like I've got Batman. I guess Spider-Man 2.
You're the goth variant.
I'm the goth variant, yeah. We're coming close to the end of this episode, I think, before we tear off on any other tangents. I think.
Yeah. I feel like I was gonna go somewhere with like the whole like emulation, like backwards compatibility and stuff, and I feel like I completely lost my train of thought, and I don't think I can ever pull it back to that now.
It's easy.
It's hard to really switch gears when you talked about the very fucked up security flaws and anti-cheat.
Yeah.
And fundamental operating systems.
It's a literal doomsday thing waiting to happen, you know. Anyway.
Sweet dreams, dear listener.
Someone's woken up at 3 a.m. with this playing and being just in a cold sweat.
I hope it's one of your friends and they message you later. And if you are that friend listening to this right now, hi from me.
Yeah, a bit of a shorter episode here, but I think before we get too distracted going on like many other tangents, we've made plenty of 2-hour-long episodes on video games, so
I'm calling this another stream of consciousness episode.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for listening to this. Next week, you can hear us talking about probably My Dress Up Darling, or it's Dan the Dan. You're getting both of them this month, so I just don't know what order they're coming out in. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Who knows? Yeah. Maybe one of us will have a mental breakdown before then.
Oh god, please. Knock on wood, knock on wood, knock on wood.
So yeah, bye!
Bye!